Unraveling the Enigma, exploring the evolution of Hamas from its inception to the present day, the untold saga. Hello and welcome back to our channel, where we dive into the most pressing topics shaping our world. In this video, we'll be exploring the full story of Hamas, the Islamist militant movement governing the Gaza Strip. From its origins to its recent major offensive on Israel, we will break down the history, leadership, funding, governance, and what sets this conflict apart. So grab a cup of tea, sit back, and let's dive in. Origins of Hamas. Hamas, an acronym for Harakat al-Muqawama al-Islamiyya, or the Islamic Resistance Movement, was founded by Sheikh Ahmed Yassin. This Palestinian cleric, who spent his early years in Islamic scholarship in Cairo, became an activist for the Muslim Brotherhood. In the late 1960s, Yassin preached and provided charitable work in the West Bank and Gaza, both under Israeli occupation after the 1967 Six-Day War. Hamas emerged as the political arm of the Muslim Brotherhood in Gaza in December 1987, during the First Intifada. Its initial goal was to counter Palestinian Islamic Jihad, which posed a threat to the Brotherhood's influence. In 1988, Hamas published its charter, which called for the destruction of Israel and the establishment of an Islamic society in historic Palestine. In an attempt to moderate its image, Hamas presented a new document in 2017, accepting the idea of an interim Palestinian state along the Green Line, but refusing to recognize Israel. Hamas first employed suicide bombings in April 1993, just before the signing of the Oslo Accords. This historic agreement established limited self-government for parts of the West Bank and Gaza, leading to condemnation by Hamas. Leadership of Hamas. Hamas boasts a complex leadership structure with various bodies overseeing political, military, and social functions. Ismail Haniyeh currently serves as its political chief, replacing Khaled Mashal in 2017. Haniyeh has operated from Doha, Qatar since 2020. Day-to-day affairs in Gaza are overseen by Yahya Sinwar, who was released from an Israeli prison after serving 22 years. Other key figures include Marwan Issa and Mohammed Deif, who command the Izz ad-Din al-Qassam brigades, Hamas's military wing. How is Hamas funded? Hamas faces financial restrictions due to its terrorist designation, which restricts it from official assistance provided by the United States and European Union to the Palestinian Authority in the West Bank. Historically, funding for Hamas came from Palestinian expatriates, private donors in the Persian Gulf, and some Islamic charities in the West. Additionally, some Islamic charities have channeled funds to Hamas-backed social service groups, leading to asset freezes by the U.S. Treasury. Gaza's economic situation was already dire before Hamas's 2023 assault on Israel. The ongoing blockade imposed by Egypt and Israel since 2006-07 has severely limited the movement of goods and people in and out of the territory. International aid plays a critical role, with Israel permitting Qatar to provide significant financial assistance through Hamas. Other foreign aid usually reaches Gaza via the Palestinian Authority and UN agencies, helping to alleviate some of the dire economic conditions. Governing Gaza. Hamas's governance in Gaza has been marked by complexity and a gradual shift towards a more authoritarian regime. They assumed control shortly after Israel's withdrawal from the territory in 2005, following a victory in the 2006 Palestinian legislative elections. This victory was influenced by a promise to provide essential social services to the people, as well as a rejection of the incumbent Fatah party, which had been perceived as corrupt and ineffective in its negotiations with Israel. Hamas's rule in Gaza involved the establishment of its own institutions, judiciary, and governance structure based on Islamic law. While theoretically governed according to the Sharia-based Palestinian Basic Law, Hamas often imposed stricter rules than required. This included the control over dress codes and enforcing gender segregation in public spaces during the early years of their rule. Freedom House's 2020 report highlighted the lack of transparency and accountability in Hamas-controlled governance, including its operations, procurements, and funding. The media, political opposition, and non-governmental organizations, NGOs, have faced significant restrictions, leaving little room for accountability. How do Palestinians view Hamas? The political division between the West Bank and Gaza has remained a source of deep frustration for Palestinians. A June 2023 poll conducted by the Palestinian Center for Policy and Survey Research, PCPSR, found that many Palestinians view this division as one of the most detrimental developments since the creation of the State of Israel in 1948. This division, combined with ongoing political tensions, has fueled discontent and uncertainty. The same poll revealed that over half of Palestinians in both Gaza and the West Bank would prefer to vote for Hamas's Ismail Haniyeh over the Palestinian Authority's President Mahmoud Abbas in a presidential election. This comes in a backdrop where Abbas had indefinitely postponed national elections scheduled for 2021, citing Israel's alleged refusal to allow East Jerusalem Palestinians to vote. However, some observers suspect that this delay might have been intended to prevent a potential Hamas victory, creating further complexities in Palestinian politics. Hamas's challenges to Israel. Hamas has historically challenged Israel through various means, including rocket attacks, mortar fire, and incursions into Israeli territory. These actions have resulted in periodic clashes, further exacerbating the already tense situation in the region. Notably, in 2021, prior to the 2023 conflict, the region witnessed one of the deadliest escalations between Hamas and Israel in years. Tensions in Jerusalem led to a series of rocket attacks by Hamas into Israel. Some analysts suggest that Hamas aimed to boost its image as the defender of the Palestinian cause after the Palestinian Authority postponed elections in 2021. This 2021 conflict was marked by more than 4,000 rockets launched from Gaza, resulting in casualties on both sides. A ceasefire, brokered by the United States and Egypt, ultimately ended the hostilities. Hamas's 2023 attack on Israel. Hamas's 2023 assault on southern Israel, known as Operation Al-Aqsa Storm, stood out due to its exceptional scale and secrecy. The operation was launched on the Jewish Sabbath and during an important Jewish holiday involving the launch of several thousand rockets into southern and central Israel. These rockets reached as far north as Tel Aviv, causing significant casualties. Hamas militants also breached the heavily fortified Gaza border, infiltrating several southern Israeli towns and villages. This resulted in the loss of hundreds of Israeli troops and civilians, as well as the abduction and injury of many more. Hamas's military leader, Mohammed Deif, stated that the assault was a response to Israel's ongoing blockade of Gaza, its occupation of Palestinian lands, and what they perceived as crimes against Muslims, including the desecration of the Al-Aqsa Mosque in Jerusalem. This attack was one of the deadliest on Israeli soil in decades, and it left a deep psychological impact on the Israeli population, drawing comparisons to the surprise attacks like Pearl Harbor and September 11, 2001. Israeli and U.S. intelligence agencies reportedly had no prior indications of Hamas planning an assault of this magnitude. Hamas's history and recent actions highlight the complex and ongoing conflict in the Middle East. The world watches as the situation unfolds, and the consequences remain uncertain. If you found this video informative, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel for more content on critical global issues. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more insightful content, and as always, keep learning and stay informed.